Hey everyone, it's Mari, and I'm here today with another 12 by 12 scrapbooking process using some mixed media. And I'm just starting off with some glossy gel medium, and I'm just going to use my Crafter's Workshop stencil there just to put down some of that gel medium, and I'm just going to set that aside and let it dry because it is a lengthy drying time with that stuff. So I'm just going to set out some of the products that I'm going to be using for the layout. I'm scrapbooking a photograph of my daughter and her boyfriend when we were in Montreal. And I'm just showing you there some of that LE Studio Let's Eat paper. I just took some of the pieces off of that, and I think they say Friday and lunch, and using a variety of other papers from some different collections that were in hip kits. And maybe there's one or two pieces that weren't from hip kit, but I think virtually everything here was from one of my last few hip kits. So I'm just going to take this paper, these paper strips that I've cut, and I'm just going to outline them with my Chamel pen. And I am just not really worrying too much about how straight those lines are, but I am getting the ink on my mat. So I just grab a piece of Stampin' Up! Grid paper and just use that just to ensure that I am not messing up my nice mat. And this just gives a little bit of definition to those papers. And to be honest with you, when I started this layout, I had absolutely no intention of using any mixed media. I was just going to do a simple little layout, just going to do some layering, and just to document the story of this day that we were in Montreal. And I ended up going a little crazy with the mixed media. I don't know why I always seem to have to, often get into my mixed media products. But anyhow, I did. So I'm just going around that those different pieces with a little bit of distress ink. I think it's pumice stone, using that Tim Holtz distress tool just to define the edges and add some more definition to those papers. And so this layout is documenting a day when we were on our vacation in August, when we took via rail from Ottawa to Montreal to spend the day in that city. And there were 4 of us who went on the trip, including my daughter and I and my husband. And we just had a really, really fun time that day. And one of the things that we did was we went to Place Jacques Cartier. In fact, we probably spent most of our day really in old Montreal. So it was just a really, really fun time. And we did lots of looking around, and the kids had a caricature done, and we ate some good foods and had some good laughs and so on. So I'm going to be scrapping some of those photographs over the course of the next few weeks. So my gel medium is nice and dry now. And I was thinking, because gel medium acts as a resist on your paper, that I thought I would use some kind of inky product, but I had forgotten to gesso my paper. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to use any water. So I went into my stash and I found this gray or silver eyes ink, pigment ink, and it is quite, I don't know, maybe viscose is the right term. I don't know. It's not really, really liquidy, but it's but it's thin enough that you can move it around a little bit on your paper. So I just took a brush. I'm just trying to move that around a little bit. I add some water onto my mat and then to the brush instead, directly onto the paper, because I didn't want to get that cardstock too wet. And I'm just going to smoosh that around a little bit. So the primary colors, the main colors that I used on this layout were grays and reds and a little bit of yellow. And I'll talk about the yellow as the layout progresses here. So I just got out, I got out my photographs that I wanted to use, and I looked at the colors that were in the photographs, and I picked the papers, the patterned papers out of my stash based on the dominant colors that were in those photographs. So the photograph is my daughter and Brady are both wearing navy blue and white. And then I just wanted to bring in the yellow because of the lemons and the sangria that they're drinking. And then the red, just because the sangria is red in the photograph as well. So I just wanted to kind of use and pick up on the photograph pictures. So I'm just going to use some Prima stamps here. Love these stamps. They're the Finnabar or Finnabear ones that you can get they're all kind of like the grungy ones for doing different kinds of mixed media or whatever you're using your stamps for. So They're lots of fun to use. I really like this set. And so I'm just going to put those down in my cluster areas there in those two corners. And I'm just going to continue to add some interesting bits and pieces to those spots. So when I was on my vacation, I did actually make some trips to some fun shopping places. So in Ottawa, there's a really great little scrapbooking store owned by the Fultons, I believe, and it's called Crop a While, and it is in Orleans. And that is where I bought these Viva Decor, I'm going to forget what they're called. Inca Gold, that's it. The Viva Decor Inca Gold. And oh my gosh, these are fantastic. So I've been experimenting with them in my art journal. And today I just thought, you know what? I'm going to use these on this layout because I love anything shiny. I'm pretty addicted to shiny stuff like Heidi Shine and, anything that's shiny. Love it. So this stuff sure falls into that category. And it is really neat stuff to work with, and it dries really fast. And the more you rub it, the shinier it gets. So it's pretty cool stuff. Now, the one thing that I have read about it is that you don't want to stick your fingers into the pots because mold can grow on the top of the medium. So I've just been taking it out of the little pots with a wipe and then putting it onto my mat and applying it with a brush or whatever. Sponge dauber, whatever I feel like using. So you can see that I also added some water to it and I splattered it onto the layout as well, just to create a little bit of red splatters. So I didn't want the red to be too dominant because red can be pretty overpowering. I know I've done a couple layouts on videos where the red has just sort of been, oh boy, that's a lot of red. That's a lot of red going on there. So I just wanted it to be fairly subtle. So one of the things that you'll see me do is I'm working with that one little strip of lemon there, and that's the only place I use it. So at the end, I'll talk a little bit more about how I changed it up, and then I do have a quick little video there at the end to show you how I added more yellow to the layout. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with my mats. And the thing is that you always want to offset your paper. You don't want to just stack it. So you just want it to be, offset each little paper from the one that's above and below it kind of thing. So I'm just messing around with the different papers and trying to get it so that it's pleasing to the eye. And I don't know if I really achieve a perfect look, but I wanted it to be a little bit different. I didn't want it to be just the same as all of the past layouts and the layering that I've done. I wanted it to be, a little bit interesting and different. So I do really love those papers in the hip kit though. Like once again, and I know I repeat myself a lot, but Kimberly does such a great job with her team at the Hip Kit Club, and they have such an amazing design team and so inspirational, and it is just fantastic. So love, love, love the Hip Kit. What I ended up doing was I saved that little piece of packaging that was in the Ellie Studio wood veneers, and that's part of my layer here behind the photo. So where you see the red and white kind of grid pattern as one of the photo layers, that's actually a piece of packaging that I saved. So now because I cut that paper down a little bit, I'm just edging where I put a little happy face there because clearly I didn't need to edge it in that spot because the photo is going over top. So I just wanted to make sure I had that edging around the two sides where I had removed some of the paper and made it smaller. So you can just see me here. I was just working away with the layers until I got them set. And now I'm just, I'm sticking some things down, and I'm just then I'm going to sort of fiddle around with my title a little bit. And I knew what I wanted my title to say, and it says Montreal Poutine, yes, please. But I just, it took me a little bit of time to choose what thickers I wanted to use. And I ended up choosing and going with some silver, bigger thickers, and then some little October afternoon ones for the smaller ones. So when we were in Place Jacques Cartier, we decided we were going to have lunch. My husband and I went and found a spot while the kids were finishing up their cricket. And this little restaurant is in the courtyard that's created from 4 other buildings. And so it wasn't like its own little restaurant. It was like they were just serving out of some little back spot out of one of the buildings in this courtyard. And they had 3 things on the menu: poutine, beer, and sangria. So we took 2 of the 3. We got a pitcher of sangria, and we each, my husband and I and Bailey and her boyfriend we each shared a thing of poutine. But it was so funny because there's a couple beside us. And I think from their accents that they perhaps may have been Americans, but it was so cute because the husband really wanted his wife to try poutine, and they clearly had never had it before. And no better place, in my opinion, to try poutine than Montreal. So anyhow, she wasn't really sure if she'd like it. And anyhow, they decided to have some, and it was very clear that they were enjoying it. But what delicious poutine. I mean, if you have never had Montreal poutine, sometime in your life you have to. And I've been there before and had poutine at different places. Probably my favorite place is La Banquise. But we just weren't going to get there because we were only there for a day, and it's a big city and there was lots of things we wanted to see. So, but this was perfect. Like the poutine there was amazing. So good. And, anyways, one of the really great things about Montreal, one of the great things is the food. I mean, great food. We didn't have any bad food that day at all, including our macarons and our fancy croissant and so on and so on. One of our favorite stops there is the Première Moisson bakery in the Queen Elizabeth train station. We stopped there in the morning to get our bread because we knew that by the time we left in the evening it would be sold out. So we had a backpack and we kind of carried that around with us during the day, but that was okay. We managed, and it was well worth it. When we got back to Ottawa and we had our bacon bread, it was so very, very good. Anyways, I'm just working on that title. And you know what I've been doing lately is just offsetting my letters. I just find that it's easier to put them down, and it just makes them look a little more interesting than if they're straight. And not that I'm never going to put my letters straight again, but it seems to be a trend that I've been going with the last little while. So you can see that I've created some interest with different mixed media there in the corners, and I've got the title, and now I'm just going to work on a few little embellishments. And I don't go crazy with embellishments in this layout. I put a few wood veneers down, the yum and the lunch. I just used the Inca Gold on them to make them red. And then the knife and fork and spoon, I used the silver Inca Gold on them just to make them look like silverware. And now I'm just going to go around that with more of the pumice stone ink. And you can see that I've rounded the corners on the white paper just because I like how that looks. I think it just kind of finishes that off a little bit. And I've added the journaling up to the top left-hand corner. And I've used a couple of little spots where I've added rub-ons. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put another little video segment when I'm done the layout here to show you how I added more yellow. And that does not appear in the still shots because I could not get Movie Maker to let me put in different pictures. It would not. I could delete the pictures without the yellow, but it would not let me add the new pictures with yellow. I don't know. It's just, being persnickety for some reason. So I'm just going to add a few little sprinkles here of some color shine, and I add some navy and some tinsel. And then, like I said, off camera, I add some Dilutions lemon zest, I think, yellow, and I add some yellow enamel dots, and I also add a couple of little lemon wedges in a couple spots just to add more of that yellow in there. Just because I thought it just looked too random for that yellow strip of lemon paper in that photo layer without some more yellow in other spots. So I'm just going to show you that here in a minute. So I'm going to mount that on some Ellie Studio Sienna Hello Beautiful polka dot paper, which I've just gutted off camera, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to that, and I'm going to stick my my layout down to that, and then that'll be the frame for it. So it's got those gray polka dots once again. So I'm almost done here. So this went pretty quick, and I'm going to show you those another quick little close-up video showing you the yellow additions that I added. And that's about it. You know what, guys? I have reached 1,000 subscribers on my channel and I am absolutely blown away. So in the next few days, watch for a giveaway celebrating you, my subbies. Wow, thank you so much for all of your support, your kind comments, and your views. I really, really appreciate it. So keep an eye out on my channel for that. That'll be coming up really soon. Have an amazing day. Thanks for watching. Bye.